let me ask you something. You're on a date with a gorgeous Slavic girl, and she's stylish and smart and feminine and all of that things. 10 out of 10. And it seems like she's totally wife material, and you're vibing and thinking about your future together, your kids. And then she casually says, "Oh, by the way, I'm making 6 grand a month by selling pictures of my legs and underarms." And one more detail, I humiliate men online as a side hustle, and this is actually my dream job. Are you okay with that? Would you choke on your drink hearing that? Or would you propose right there and now? Or would you run away? Today we're diving into the wildest mix of modern sexuality, fetish culture, Slavic values, and one question that's going to blow up this comment section: would you date a woman who sells fetish content online? Stick around because we're diving deep into psychology, culture, desires, loneliness, beauty, and brutal truths about what it takes to build a real relationship with Ukrainian women or generally Slavic women, especially if you are not the most traditional guy. So here's where it's all started. I recently watched the street interview, and this was stunningly beautiful Russian lady in her 20s. And she'd been asked by a man street interview how much money she makes per month and what she's doing for a living. And she said with absolute excitement in her eyes that she makes around 6 grand USD a month by selling her pictures. And he asked her what type of pictures, and she said her legs and underarms. And he asked, any other pictures? No, just that. It's fetish stuff. It's in high demand and well paid. And then he asked her, anything else you do? And she replied, yeah, one more detail. So I talk to men like I'm punishing them, and that's part of my job. So she's sending like these video circles in Telegram with her being very nasty to them. So straight face, no cringe, no embarrassment, just facts. And at the end, she added also, which is the most wild part of all this message, she said, it's my dream job. So since I was a little girl, I dreamed of making money just by being beautiful. I always imagined that man would pay me simply by, for me being beautiful, looking good. And so comment section just blew up under this video. And a lot of women was writing, damn, we punish men for free. Where are we going to apply to be paid for this activity? Or like, I have free underarms. Where can I submit 4 of them if they're good enough? So a lot of funny comments. I understand people was just making fun of that because it's such a unique and interesting work that not many people faced. But at the end of the day, it's more was like a joke than something that would seriously be considered by most of Slavic women. So here's the thing. This girl said something powerful, and that's why I decided to make this video. She said, it's my dream job, and I wanted to get paid for being beautiful. And I think Western men don't really understand this about Slavic women. But whatever you love or hate it, that's brutally honest reflection of the world we live in, especially in Eastern Europe, where beauty perceived as your capital. Girls are taught from your young age to take care about themselves and to understand that beauty is actually their power. Now, does that make her a gold digger in your opinion? A hustler? Or she's just being smart and creative? Write me what you think in comments, okay? But actually, deeper question that I have to all of you is that, would you date such a woman? Would you make her your wife? And would you trust her generally? And let's talk about fetishes. Because if you're watching this channel, you probably, or specifically this video, you're probably a little bit more open-minded than average. And I have interesting statistic for you. While I was preparing for this video, I found out that there is over 50% of the men admit of having some kind of fetish. And some of them just afraid to admit it honestly to themselves. So maybe you're one of them who's watching this video now. So there's like so many different types of them, right? Feet, legs, domination, latex, denial, you name it all, right? And if you're honest, maybe you got something too. And that one that you haven't told anyone, but you secretly have it, right? And that's some little switch in your brain that flips you from being gentleman to primal. The good news, just relax. You're not weird, you're human. Desire has many different flavors, and most women are more understanding than even what you can imagine. The key is all about the way you will present it. So let's talk about culturally what accepted, what's not accepted, and so you can understand more about Slavic culture. Ukrainian, Russian women, Belarusian women, they raised with a very different framework than Western women. They're not taught to fear femininity. They are not told that being sexy is shameful. And many of them are way more open-minded about sexuality than you'd guess. But here's the twist. They're also extremely private and reserved and very conservative in public, but very playful in private. So what happens if you have certain fantasies, things you'd love to explore with your woman, with your life partner? To be successful in this approach, it's all come down to right timing. And the huge difference between Slavic culture and Western world that people in Slavic culture don't talk about sex openly, especially before it happens. On the West, you can start to talk about this on the first date, on the second date, and if you would do the same, if you would use the same approach with Slavic woman, it will trigger every red flag in your brain. She won't see you as an adventurous man, as she will see you as a sex tourist, and that's not whom she wants to date. And basically not serious man. And once she slapped that label on you, you've done. No way to get her back. So it's all about when you will approach her, if you have these things in your mind. If she trusts you, she respects you and feels safe with you, and if there is a real connection and love, then the conversation hits differently. Many Ukrainian women, Slavic women, are surprisingly open-minded, but only when they know you're not just using them to act out your fantasies. She's not just toys to satisfy your fantasies. This is not about hiding who you are. It's about understanding when to share it, when to approach her on this topic. And if you will do this right, she might surprise you. You might get the result that you didn't expect to get. But let's go back to this original girl that inspired me for this video. She makes $6,000 a month, fetish model, loves humiliating men online. Probably she has satisfaction from this too, because why she would call this as her dream job. Is she, in your opinion, relationship material, wife material? You see, the men who come to us, normally Western men, they're looking for something specific. And they tired of what's going on back home in the West. And so they want really traditional woman, someone feminine, loyal, family-oriented, not someone who's chasing Instagram fame or OnlyFans followers. So when I hear about women, who choose this job is selling pictures of her legs and feet or some fetish stuff, I don't sugarcoat it. She's not wife material to our typical clients, to clients who come to us for help. And I'm not here to judge anyone's, life, right? Is that what she wants to do with her life is fine, it's her choice, right? We all have freedom to choose in life what to do. But you can, I want you to be honest with yourself. You can't turn around and expect her to suddenly become your self-nurturing traditional Slavic wife who raises your kids and bake pies on Sunday. This is not her archetype, If you meet a woman who's doing this, and then you want to expect her to turn all of a sudden and be super traditional woman. And that's where it gets really interesting. Maybe you have certain preferences, and you've got kinks and fantasies and things you've been afraid to talk about, and you're worried that a very traditional Ukrainian woman would be scared off by that. And that might be true. But a woman who is already in this world selling fetish content, monetizing her beauty, she might be your cookie. You never know. If you have very strong fetishes, maybe that's whom you need to look for. She might actually get you in a way, a more conservative woman want. Just don't lie to yourself. Everything starts from being honest with yourself. I don't say you want a traditional Slavic wife and then chase women who are marketing her body, for example, in this way. So don't go after fetish girl and expect them to act like a church girl, okay? That's how men end up broke or bitter, when he's not honest with himself, or he expects to start a relationship and change person. And women too, when they start with these expectations that at the end of the day will not be met. So this video is not just about underarms and punishment, obviously. It's about loneliness, it's about shame and mental needs, about some shades, and every real woman, no matter what country she's from, she wants a man who knows himself, he knows his own shadows, and isn't afraid to talk about it. But again, it all comes to timing, right? We all want to be accepted fully in a relationship, right, for who we are. Now, write me in comments, would you date a woman who makes her money in this way? Would it be maybe turn on for you? Or it will be total deal breaker? I want to really read your opinion, because you will represent more of opinion of Western men, and I want you to voice it. And maybe share with some guy that he has some fantasies and he don't know how to approach Slavic women, so it might be very helpful to him. So we'll be happy to read all your comments. And if you're down with Tinder trash and Western games and women who ghost you, I invite you to come to us. If you want serious relationship and looking for marriage, you can just go to guaranty.com/register, and we are helping Western men to meet real marriage-minded Slavic women looking for loving, loyal relationship. And also I want to invite you to Telegram community of like-minded Western man who is looking for this opportunity to date Slavic women and want to learn more about this, because there is differences in Western culture and Slavic culture, and the more you know, the more you increase your chance to be successful in this relationship. I'm grateful for you watching video till the end, and I hope to see you soon in my upcoming episodes. Bye bye for now.